What kind of feedback have you gotten from people who view this series, and um, what do you, how does that align with what you maybe had in mind when you made the work in terms of how do your viewers, what happens when they encounter these dark-filled compositions?
hmm You know, I think what happens when people view and experience the work, the way it's, how do I put this? Their own projections are made apparent. So when I first made the work, like I said, it was in grad school, 2018, and I was questioned on like my photographic process. You're familiar, Bob, with my digital composites and the crazy things that I do with photographs. And I was questioned on that, like, why do you have to do this? Can you try another process? Which, I took on as a challenge in grad school, which is actually partly how Black Trinity came into being. But the ideas that really influenced the work were based on isolation and solitude. Because, like I said, having moved to New York and having this whole experience of being away from everything that I knew, and in some ways it felt isolating, right? Like I'm here in this foreign land with foreign people, even though it's still in America, but like to me, it's foreign. I had never been to the East Coast really. Um, but then within that, I also found this sense of solitude where I was like, oh, this is actually kind of peaceful and restful. I can, kind of find myself outside the context of the people and the places that I'm familiar with and that have really formed my identity, or helped to inform it. Um, and so when I first showed the work in grad school in critique, I was super excited and I was like, yeah, I'm like doing something really different. And what ended up happening was that it was not a conversation around sort of these psychological processes of isolation and solitude, but more so about the social identity markers of me being a Black man existing within a Black space. So I felt that was really reductive, and it actually really made me mad and annoyed. Um, and so I spent my 2 years in grad school, like kind of reworking that, and now it's kind of been sort of a thing. It's okay if people come to blackness or they see a black image with a black person in it, and all they can think is, oh, well, it's the black experience.
Mhm.
What can I do to kind of expand these conversations or the thinking and the um yeah, just the thinking around it. So I've had that experience where people look at it from a racial perspective, where it's about me and my experience as a Black man, which to a degree, yes, because it's me and the work, it's my images, it all is born from my experiences. But then other people have been able to approach it through aspects of spirituality, aspects of emotions or psychology. Um, so it depends on the person, right? And what is going through their mind and what can't think of the word, but I guess how they stereotypically come to understand certain things based on these identity markers or based on the social cues that they're familiar with, right? Some people have the knowledge, the ability to look upon, an image in the Black Trinity series and see the vast potential of emotionality that exists in there, the spiritual nature of it. But then other people, for whatever reasons, they only come to it with a very reductive understanding and viewpoint. So, it always makes me happy when people can see the expansive nature of the work. Um, and then on the other end, it makes me a little bit sad, if people can only see one thing. Because I mean, to me that, I don't want to make any judgments about people who do, um, but from my point of view, as the artist, the maker, it's reductive. So I really got in a wide gamut of experiences that people have had with the work. But I'd say the most of it has been really positive and fruitful, and even the conversations around racial aspects have been really informative for me as well. So however people come to it, I accept.
Well, I know when I first saw the work, um, I found it transcendental. And that's what
Hmm.
really uh, appealed to me. I mean, that we see so much work about social identity, but you incorporate social identity, but you take it beyond, you know, just that. And, you take it to what I would call like the cosmic level.